Welcome back, everyone. It's Mary with Happy Pine Soap. Today we'll be making a wonderful pine tar soap. Pine tar has been used for well over 2,000 years in medicine to treat various skin conditions, and it has wonderful soothing and antiseptic properties. In addition, it can relieve itching and is anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, and antifungal. Because of these properties, it's often used for eczema, psoriasis, seborrheic dermatitis, and other itchy and inflamed skin conditions. I went ahead and included the medical journal where all this wonderful information comes from. Feel free to check it out below in the description. I'll have it linked there as well. I like to include the science behind any claims so that it's not just my personal opinion. And I just wanted to also make note that if you are making soap, be very careful with any claims you make in terms of what it can treat, because those are claims that have to be backed up by laboratory testing and very expensive type of testing. And it can get you in trouble with the FDA, for example, or any other organizational bodies in your country. So just be careful about that. The soap very well probably does help with these skin conditions, but unless we actually have put our soap through the testing process to see if it does that, we cannot make these claims. So my soaps are just for my personal use, and feel free to try my recipe out as well, just for your personal use, or maybe a loved one has some itchy skin or some other skin conditions, and who knows, it actually might be helpful. Feel free to let me know, by the way, if you have any great experiences with pine tar yourself. And now on to our wonderful recipe for today. Feel free to screenshot this. I made this recipe this morning in Soap Calc. Soap Calc is a wonderful tool for creating your own recipes. If you are a beginner and don't know how to use this, I have included my tutorials on how to make your own recipes in Soap Calc. They will be linked below in the description. And of special note is that pine tar cancels out some of the lye in your recipe, and Soap Calc makes adjustments for this. So this is a great calculator for making a pine tar soap because it takes this adjustment into account. Our ingredients for today is going to be cocoa butter wafers. I got these at my local soaping store back when it was a really good price. Castor oil, of course, for some bubbles from Brambleberry. We also have some wonderful palm oil as well. This is sustainably sourced palm oil. And we have our palm kernel flakes, also from my local soaping store. And then our organic virgin coconut oil from Costco, as well as olive oil, which is also from Costco. Now for our pine tar, our main star of the show for today's soap. This is a wonderful Swedish brand, Awesome. It is, as you can see here, it says that it is kiln burned, and it's 100% kiln, 100% pine tar. And you're looking for the kiln burned, and because it's creosote free, basically. Apparently, I was doing some research. Pine tar is usually made in open pits, and the open pit type is the type that can have creosote, which is bad for us. But kiln burned is a closed system, and it's superior due to that in terms of quality and safety. And so this is a very high quality creosote free brand here, and I got it on Amazon. And I also heard or read a lot of soapers saying pine tars, depending on the brand, some can smell extremely chemically and like really awful. But this one, a lot of soapers said this one was wonderful because it just smells like a campfire. And that's exactly what it does smell like. I've already smelled it. It's a very smoky, kind of woodsy smell. So it's not unpleasant, but it is strong. It is strong. So I'm going to try to counter that with some iced vanilla woods will be our fragrance. This is from Midwest Fragrance. It has a wonderful woodsy smell as well, kind of a masculine unisex type of scent. And I've pre-mixed it with 3 tablespoons of kaolin clay to really help that fragrance stick. And then also we're going to be going with this 2.5 pound mold. And as you see, I've already put in some beautiful mica at the bottom to really make those flowers stand out. Basically, this is just pre-mixed copper mica with some oil. And I just used a brush, a cooking brush, just to get it down in there really well and smooth it out. And then the last ingredient I'm going to use today is walnut shells. You do not have to use these. I love scrubby soap, so I'm probably going to put, I'll put like a teaspoon of this in the whole batch, I believe. let's start adding our coconut oil in. I like to add my hard oils first, and then at the end I add my liquid oils. This helps to control the temperature while I'm soaping. And we need 4.59 ounces of coconut oil. Sorry, there's an enormous plane going overhead. We live by the Flagstaff Airport, so it can be loud sometimes. Let's see, 4.59, getting down to the nitty gritty. Here we go. Yeah, there. Now we are gonna do our palm oil. I've melted this, and we're gonna pour in our 6.75 ounces of palm oil. There we go. Now for the 4.05 ounces of cocoa butter. Getting close. And probably one more. Perfect. And our last hard oil is the palm kernel flakes. Let's get those added. Kind of break some of these clumps up. Oop, there we go. And while they're melting, I thought you might like to take a look at Murphy. This is literally what he does when I'm soaping. Here's all my soap stuff. And there's Murphy. He keeps me company. Right, Murph? Are you a good boy? Are you a good boy? Now for our olive oil, 4.05 ounces. We'll pour that in. Our 0.81 ounces of castor. And now for our pine tar. I've carefully removed the lid. As you can see, it's a beautiful, rich chocolate, like dark chocolate brown. And we are going to carefully pour 4.05 ounces into our warmed oils. All right, here we go. Ooh, it's like molasses. Very cool. That's another good thing about this brand that I read, is that it stays in this kind of molasses-like consistency, as opposed to apparently some pine tars are solid. But this one is a liquid. It makes for much easier pouring. Ooh, I'm close, I'm close. There we go. Ooh, I'm gonna have to clean that up. Now let's carefully just stir this pine tar in with the warm oils. I think I'm going to use my emulsion blender to make sure it blends really, really well. And I'm also going to blend in our fragrance with the emulsion blender, as well as our walnut shells. And I'll do all of this before I add the lye, because apparently this pine tar soap has a tendency to seize up, and that means it goes from like liquid to rock hard within seconds. So the best advice for this type of soap is to have everything ready to go and to hand stir the lye in, as opposed to using our emulsion blender to prevent that seizing of the soap. Let's get our 1 teaspoon of walnut shells in. And again, as I mentioned, this is totally optional. You do not have to add these. I am a scrubby soap girl myself. And now this delicious, delicious fragrance. By the way, this fragrance does turn soap a dark brown as well, due to the vanilla content in it. So perfect design, because the soap is already a delightful, rich, dark brown from the pine tar. So this is a perfect match, a match made in heaven for a fragrance that happens to discolor, that goes into a soap that's already dark brown. All right, let me get all of this in here, and then we will pulse it with our emulsion blender. Let's get these all mixed together. Ooh, the smokiness is delightful. Oh, it smells so good with that fragrance in it. that's looking pretty good to me. So because this recipe will seize and accelerate rapidly, the advice is to soap very, very low. So our oils at night are at 96, so that is actually pretty low, but I'm gonna wait till they're at 85 degrees and our lye around 80 or 75 before I start soaping to try and prevent that immediate seizing of the soap. Our temperatures now are about 88 for the oils and the pine tar, and our lye solution is about 86. I'm going to give it a go because I'm hand stirring. I'm going to give it a go and hopefully it does not seize up on me. All right, so you want to make sure you have your mold right next to you. So I have that ready to go just in case it starts to thicken rapidly. We're going to put that right here off to the side, and let's gently, this is my first time hand stirring. Let's see how long it takes for this guy to trace. All right. Let me scrape this all out. Let's begin hand stirring. Ooh, it's thickening already, guys. Oh, good thing I didn't use the blender. Oh my goodness, it is thickening already. Oh yeah. Holy cow, probably the most rapid thickening I've seen without a stick blender. Oh my gosh, I'm shocked. I'm so glad I did my research. Oh, okay, it's probably at the point where I need to get it in the mold. It's beginning to be like pudding. Ooh, let's get it in there. Let's get it in there. Let's, ooh. Listen to me, I'm trying not to panic. We're not gonna panic, guys. We're not gonna panic. Just get it in there, get it in. Okay. There, ooh, panic averted. We got it in there, it's fine. Look at that, guys. It's like brownie batter. Let's give it a good shake. Trying to level it here. Okay, let me scrape some of the rest out. All right, let me get this a little closer here. You can see it is, and this is only about 15 seconds later. It's not going anywhere, guys. This is what they mean by seasoning. Seizing, Lord, not seasoning. Seizing or extreme acceleration. This is also known as soap on a stick. So I've had soaps do soap on a stick just like this, where it goes from liquid to solid within seconds, and usually that's due to a fragrance oil. But in this case, it's pine tar that makes it do that. And I'm not even going to oven process this because I bet it's going to overheat if I do that. So we're just gonna let it gel on the counter. I'll put the lid on. See, I really can't even smooth this out anymore or push it down. I wanted to kind of flatten this since this will be the bottom. I might have to just trim that off later. So we're just gonna go with it. We're gonna let it do its thing on the counter, and we're not gonna oven process it, and we'll come back hopefully in a few hours and get this cut, depending on how hard it is. And you know what, just to make sure it gels, I don't want it to soap volcano, which it might do in a hot oven, but I'm hoping, and soap volcano means it gets so hot it explodes upward. We don't want that. I'm just gonna wrap it in a towel. Kind of the old school method here, and hope that this keeps it warm enough that it goes through a full gel and we don't get a partial gel, but without it seizing or doing soap volcanoing or cracking or any of the other things soap can do. All right, we'll leave our friend here and come back later. You will probably notice that because the soap has seized, you'll have quite a hard, thick layer in your bowls and on your spatulas left over. Feel free to let this sit for a day or so in your sink and then just pop it in the dishwasher. And because it will have saponified into soap, it should not hurt your pipes at this point. I waited about 4 hours and then I unmolded our soap. It looks gorgeous on top. It definitely is extremely hard already, and I don't want to break my wire cutters, so I'm going to go ahead and start cutting it. All right, here's our loaf, looking beautiful, but it is rock hard, guys, so I really hope it doesn't. It does not break my wire cutter. Please do not. Ooh. All right, so far so good. The first bar, And I mentioned that this is actually the bottom, so what I can do is trim off to make it nice and flat. But the top looks great. Let's do a few more here, and then I'll finish and trim off the bottoms. You can always clean off your wire too before you do the next cut. All right. Perfect. All right, there we go. There's the next one. Beautiful. Now to cut off our uneven bottom, I'm going to try it this way and hopefully, yeah, there you go. Nice and flat. So it'll sit much better. Yes, nice and flat. And here they all are. They look gorgeous. Oh, I love the copper at the top. It looks so beautiful with the deep chocolate brown color of the soap. I can't wait to see how these lather and how they perform. I'll definitely follow up and let you guys know when I'm able to do that. They smell very strongly of pine tar still. So I've read that that takes about 4 weeks and it dissipates quite a bit where it's not quite as strong as it is in the beginning, but it doesn't smell awful. But it's just a very, very strong scent of pine tar right now. But oh my gosh, look at that. It's just gorgeous with the beautiful copper. Love it, love it, love it. I also used my favorite vegetable peeler. This is a nice stainless steel heavy duty one from IKEA. And I went ahead and beveled the edges of the soap. As you can see here, that makes them nice and smooth and rounded. They feel much nicer in your hand and they're not quite so sharp on the edges. So some people really dislike the sharpness of the unbeveled soap. So yeah, they look wonderful beveled. So feel free to bevel yours as well if you prefer that rounder edge. We are back with a lather test. I just took one of the ends that I cut off the bottoms here for our lather test. And let's see how this guy performs. Okay, good. I can tell already that the lather will be good. So that's fabulous. Yeah. Let's put this guy aside here. Okay, the good news is the lather is really nice actually. And I'm not seeing a major brown color to the suds. Sometimes charcoal does that. It gives it a discoloration that can like stain towels and stuff that people worry about. But no, this is a good lather and I like the way it feels on the skin. It's nice. So yeah, recipe good and the pine tar is nice. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of you. I really hope you enjoyed my tutorial. Give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, don't forget to do that. That helps my channel grow. And I so appreciate every single one of you. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next soapy tutorial. Take care, everybody.